Hey guys, welcome to Utopia, a perfect world that was imagined since Thomas More. A world where the disparity between wealth and poverty disappears, where inequality, poverty, and homelessness are things of the past, and capitalism never existed. Where has this perfect world gone, and how can we reach this utopia? What if we pay everyone a stable income in the form of UBI, Universal Basic Income? Universal Basic Income is a strategy where a modest amount of money is paid by the state to everyone. It must be universal, so all citizens, regardless age, gender, marital status, or whether they are working or not, will receive it. It must also be individual and unconditional. Ask yourself, what would you do if you were assured that you will get a consistent, reliable income whether you work or not? Your motivation changes. You're no longer participating in the economy because you have to, but because you want to. We need UBI to provide social security and social justice. It gives freedom to individuals and it encourages innovation and creativity. We also need UBI because it helps to reduce the pay inequality between men and women. It helps to redistribute wealth better and it gives people freedom, the freedom to say no to precarious employment and exploitation, and therefore it will reduce the anxiety of unstable labor. Now, we heard that UBI would prevent people from working, that is not affordable, or paying money to everyone will lead to inflation. Let's address this. The first concern are financial, so let's address how do we fund UBI? The Centre for Social Justice made the following assumption. A UBI program in the UK will cost around £600,000 million. Funds for UBI could come from taxes, especially taxes on wealthy individuals, or investments focused on generating funds that they will be redistributed. We can turn tax allowance into UBI or refundable tax credit. For example, income tax and national insurance contributions could be replaced with a basic income of the same cash value. Or we could fund it through an European-wide tax on pollution and carbon emissions. We can also use all existing benefits, tax reductions and tax credits with an unconditional basic income designated to be revenue neutral. We can also create central funds, financed by a mixture of existing public assets and corporate funds, and we could require top firms to transfer a percentage of the share capital each year into the fund. The return on the investment could be shared between citizens as a variable annual dividend or annual grant. We can also equalize tax rates so the same rate applies for both the general tax and the particular tax base. Or central banks could just issue new money. Is UBI then a realistic idea? Well, it's not a dream because it has worked in other places. Here are some examples. In Alaska, the permanent fund dividend has been paid out since 1982 to every Alaskan resident. It is funded by a share of the profits from the state's oil industry. To prove that the UBI will not lead to inflation, since 1988, Alaska has had the lowest inflation in the whole US. But this is not the only example. Finland also ran a 2-year pilot project in January 2017. 2,000 randomly selected unemployed people were paid €560 for 2 years. The results were a significant improvement in their health and more motivation to look for employment or start a business. Iran also ran a UBI program in 2011. The program increased around 6% of the GDP. This is about $1.5 extra per person and per day. The program proved that those receiving UBI did not lose a job, discarding one of the most argued disadvantages for UBI. Rationing is prevalent in the market for work, where jobs are highly in demand. Employees are attached to their jobs and are unlikely to withdraw from the positions despite they receive UBI. So, is UBI a fix to all the problems currently facing the world? No, but it's an efficient start. The world is changing fast and the gap in inequalities are rapidly expanding as a result of the global advances in digitalizations that are altering the structure and nature of the work and increasing the concerns about future job losses. UBI is an effective way to ease people into the changing world. It generates positive outcomes as freedom of choice and job flexibility, but most important, it will provide an unconditional support framework for the basic rights that a citizen should be entitled to.